just a creepy movie. It definitely creeps you out for sure.
Somebody has to be perfect, so it might as well be me.
Talk about deja vu.
You live to tell the tale.
You gotta think like a werewolf.
It's the Slashers and Screamers podcast. And we're back on another Slashers and Screamers podcast. We got a big show today. We don't have time to mess around. Let's get everybody in here. JB, what is going on with you?
Why is it such a big show, Bill?
Because we got a 2-hour movie, a film that's got 50 characters like it's the Grapes of Wrath. You know what it is.
2-hour movie?
It is a 2-hour movie. You'd know if you watched it.
Great.
Memphis Maniac Rick, this was your pick, dude. Why'd you pick this?
I mean, for me, a lot of people think it's a stupid movie and a ripoff of Scream, but I think it's a fun film that's original in its own way. So
Original in its own way by taking existing urban legends and just throwing them all into one movie with a cast of characters that you have to take off your shoes to use your toes to count them with, right?
it is a mile long, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, final girl Casey.
Hello, Billy.
Hello, Casey. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I had never seen this movie before, and that's what I spent this afternoon doing.
Well, we're going to get your thoughts as a first-time viewer in just a little bit. So, hell, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. We get a cold open here that I feel like if there's one word to describe it, it's accurate. Every movie I've ever seen with somebody doing their car ride karaoke, they all sound great. I myself sound great when the radio's louder than my voice. This girl, played by Natasha Gregson Wagner. What was she in, Rick? Natasha Gregson Wagner.
Her name in the movie was Michelle Mancini. She played in Lost Highway, Two Girls and a Guy.
That was Two Girls in One Cup. You misnamed that movie.
She's the daughter of film producer Richard Gregson and actress Natalie Wood. So there's some trivia for you.
Wait, that's their daughter?
Yes.
I will be damned. Right now, I will be damned. Did not know
I watched
that.
the documentary she made about her mom.
What? Okay, why am I the only one catching up to this? James, don't pretend that you fucking knew her. And he won't.
Yeah, I knew all better, Bill.
Damn it. Well, she's...
Old days.
Oh, man. So she's on a car trip. We don't know anything about who she is, or her character, that is, where she's going, but we know that she has an atrocious singing voice, and I appreciate it, because that's how most people sound. Like, she couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, nor can most people, and I think that's what I appreciate about this cold open.
I relate to her enthusiasm and also choice of song.
You liked the choice of song?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it was a good one. As soon as I heard... the turnaround part, I started thinking about the TikTok trends. Turn your ass back around.
That was really silly for them to play that song during this moment.
Yeah,
I'm not mad.
No, not at all, because that's the one
silly.
thing she needed to do. But I'm wondering though. Okay, so let's just break down what happens. I mean, she stops at a gas station in the pouring rain, and she
runs into our very own Brad Dourif.
I mean, bless his little pea-picking heart. He's been in how many movies that we've watched now? Well, at least Exorcist 3.
Exorcist 3, he's the voice of the original Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
You say cuckoo?
As far as ones we've done, I think it's just maybe Exorcist 3, though.
Yeah, maybe I've
one
just
more?
wanted to do others.
Definitely want to do others.
Yeah. At one point, I did want to do the second Rob Zombie Halloween just to really break down why people hate it so much. Kind of get to the core
I
of
hate
that.
it so much.
Yeah, a lot of people do. You and an army of people.
I lead the army.
I'm sure you do. And there are things, though, about this film that, not this film, but about Halloween 2, that I didn't consider the first time around. And maybe some alternate theories that we want to kind of jump into, but we'll save that for another day. But like Rick said, the voice of Chucky, he was in One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest, he was in Exorcist 3, And he was Sheriff Brackett in Halloween and Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie remake. But at this gas station, she fights him off. You know, Michelle Mancini's her name. We'll learn that later. But we run into Brad Dourif as a stuttering gas station attendant. Not the best at communicating. Probably should have gone a couple other routes before the grab you by the shoulders and slobber all over you approach.
That's not my number one.
It's never worked for me. Please do.
But wasn't he bad at communicating because he was stuttering? That's what I assumed.
When was this movie?
When? 1998.
Yeah.
We would have been sophomores, I guess? Juniors in high school? Sophomores?
Some of us.
Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, that guy's in it. He's we'll get to him in a minute. He among the entire batting order of the New York Yankees are in this movie. You just have so many top. Well, I guess you could say top stars now. A lot of these people have been in have led a movie at one point or another that we've seen. But so she fights off Brad Dourif, the gas station attendant, and after she drives off, he finally gets to spit out what he was trying to tell her the whole time, that there is someone in the back seat. She would have known that had she stopped to listen, because he was being very straightforward about what he was trying to tell her.
Classic urban legend, Bill.
I mean, I don't think it gets any older than The Stranger in the Back Seat, does it?
I like when they touch on the stranger upstairs.
Yeah, they're gonna really touch on, well, I think almost every kill, all but two for sure, basically comes from an existing urban legend that we can, dive into maybe a little bit, before the end of this podcast. But this one, The Stranger in the Back Seat, probably one of the more highly used ones in film. Easy to do. Start the car and go. It's dark. You're looking in the mirror. You don't see anything. You look back at the mirror, and then you see a face, and it scares the shit out of you. Very effective. But this time she gets decapitated with an axe, and that's what happens to kick this movie off. That's your cold open. The end. But, in the next scene, we're at... you can really say that a lot of movies do this. You're on a school campus of some kind, whether it be high school, university. In this one, Pendleton University. And you've got actually, in the first scene, we heard the radio host named Sasha, played by Tara Reid. What was she in, Rick?
Sharknado.
A lot of stuff. And this is when she was actually still attractive and didn't have all the plastic surgery.
That is brutal, Rick.
She was in American Pie 1,
Shot
American Pie 2,
fired.
American Union, The Big Lebowski, Sharknado. She's been in a bunch of other stuff.
She was in The Big Lebowski, and she was absolutely hammerish in The Big Lebowski.
Fired.
Across her nose.
Across the bow.
God, Rick, you're brutal, Rick.
She was attractive in this, not so much now, but
oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen her now. The last I saw of her was Sharknado, right? Has she done anything since? Anything like big?
When this podcast becomes famous and Rick gets all his plastic surgery done, we can come back to this moment right here.
And he's going to have a breast enhancement, at least. God, Rick, how dare you talk about Tara Reid like that? In American Pie, that's probably where a lot of us were introduced to Tara Reid as kind of your good girl.
Yeah, she drank it one beer.
Yeah, she drank it and then all of a sudden becomes just a stone cold slut, and we loved her for it. Well, in this film, she's a radio host who kind of gives, some sex advice to maybe some inexperienced callers.
Some responsible sex advice.
Yeah. I don't know if, I didn't listen to Dr. Ruth back in the day, and I'm probably aging myself by saying that name at all. But I would say the advice that she's giving is pretty sound. But across campus, she's got a frat boyfriend named Parker, who's played by Michael Rosenbaum. I know him as Lex Luthor from one of those damn TV shows.
Smallville.
Yeah. Smallville, yeah. What else has he been in? That's all you fucking knew, wasn't it, Rick?
That's all I really knew was Smallville, honestly.
Good God. Well, he's out to tell the news that
that's all he's ever been in, people.
It was just this and Smallville. Long hair, completely bald. You never know it was him. He can't be typecast. But he's telling everybody after this Michelle Mancini incident with the stranger in the back seat. He's telling Natalie and Brenda, who are played by Alicia Witt and Rebecca Gayheart, who, might I add, has got my vote for being the hammer, the absolute ball-peen hammer of the gods in this flick, Rebecca Gayheart. I mean, those curls. Never mind. Listen, Alicia Witt, what was she in, Rick?
She was in Dune. She was in the show Twin Peaks. This is pretty much the two big things she's been in.
Okay, and Rebecca
She's
Gayheart?
been in a lot of things.
I really couldn't find much on her. Casey, do you know?
Rebecca Gayheart? Yeah, I know. First of all, she's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Jawbreaker.
Jawbreaker. Knew it. I called it.
The Breakfast Club.
She is not a part of that film.
He saw the red hair on Alicia Witt and said, "That, by God, that's Molly Ringwald."
Molly Ringworm.
Oh no.
That's gonna be my cross-dressing name.
Now that Sigourney Beaver is taken.
I can't take Sigourney Beaver because it's used by a Canadian drag queen. Canadian, I think.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But also, Rebecca Gayheart is in Scream 2. She's one of the sorority sisters. She's in this, obviously, Jawbreakers. From what I understand, she's featured in Urban Legends 2.
Yeah.
She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Billy, did you catch her in that?
I did, and that was probably a time when I said, you know what, I have not seen her in anything since I opened that Playboy magazine she was in.
What?
Sure.
Well, hush up, James. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later. Check your DMs. But our guy, Michael Rosenbaum, old Lex Luthor, he's telling everybody about how this campus was the site of a massacre back in 73. Okay, but there's always somebody who's like, no, that didn't happen. And who is that? Who is this ambitious school journalist named Paul? But Jared Leto. What's he been in, Rick? Do you even know?
I mean, he has his own band. He's the singer of, what is it?
30 Seconds to Mars.
30 Seconds to Breakfast.
He's been in Suicide Squad. He's been in...
He was in Billy's favorite movie.
Please.
Dallas Buyers Club.
I mean, he was in My So-Called Life, the TV show. He was
Jordan
in
Catalano.
Going Erupted, Fight Club, American Psycho, Requiem for a Dream, Panic Room, Alexander, Chapter 27, Lord of War. I can keep going. Blade Runner 2039.
So you spit out 50 movies of Jared Leto and 2 for Alicia Witt, who's been in just as many. You rat bastard.
Well, I'm pretty sure Jared Leto is a bigger star than she is.
And James didn't even know it was Alicia Witt. He thought it was Molly Ringwald. I'm disappointed.
By the way, trivia, did you know Jared Leto is Jamie Lee Curtis's godson?
Are you sure?
She better
because
disown him.
Jake Gyllenhaal is Jamie Lee Curtis's godson.
Oh, never mind. I got him mixed up. Just kidding.
I would never let you fall down on the
put
job
me in
like
my
that,
place
Rick.
here. Mrs. Jawbreaker over there. I don't even know what that movie is or about.
She got married. Okay.
I am unwed.
She is wed to Mr. Jawbreaker. That's great. Miseries. You know, this cast, though, we've got most of them out of the way, if not all the main players. Well, there's a couple of main players coming up. But this is one of those films where I kind of get lost with all the, I like to call eye candy actor. Like, most of these actors in this film, I don't want to disparage anybody's acting skill, because heaven forbid we say anything about Joshua Jackson's acting chops. But, like, everybody in this film is aesthetically pleasing. There's not a normal-looking one in the bunch. And this is probably the beginning of where I started to notice that happening. Does anybody else feel that way? Like, do you just kind of turn off when you realize that, okay, this is made up of, like, pleasing to the eye actors and not really much in-depth character involvement?
Side note, Joshua Jackson was in Mighty Ducks, all of them, and he was in Dawson's Creek. And he was in the series Fringe. But he's most known for Dawson's Creek and Mighty Ducks movies.
Emilio!
And he was in, what's that movie? No, that's not the one. The one with...
Dare you, Bill.
Selma Blair and Sarah Michelle Gellar make out. What movie is that?
Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions, yes.
I base my life on knowing that was Cruel Intentions.
Very formative to my life.
How dare you talk about these people's acting chops, Bill?
Well, listen, when I'm surrounded by the likes of you all, it all looks second rate to me.
Because we're incredible actors.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm an eye candy actor.
You sure are, you handsome devil, you. But news about Michelle's death spreads across campus, and Dean Adams, played by John Neville, nobody gives a damn what he was in. He tries to discredit the reports that the killer might be a student. And
Nobody cares what he was in?
Okay.
Who?
What was he
John
in?
Neville?
Tell us what John Neville was in.
I don't know, but it feels mean to cut him off like that. What if he's listening and we know he is? Unless he's dead. Don't know.
He was super old in this movie. I would put
He
money.
died in 2011, Casey. I don't think he's
So
listening.
he's not listening. Bummer. We
Maybe
lost
he's
a fan.
Yeah, maybe his. Well, did we ever have it? His estate's probably
You know
listening.
what his name is, Bill?
John Neville,
John Reginald Neville.
not Reginald.
That's right, Reginald.
So Dean Adams, played by Reggie Neville, he discredits this whole report that the killer might be a student. This report by Jared Leto, who I think his name was Paul, right? Yeah. So Natalie, who's okay. Now this is where we're going to get a little jacked up. Who plays Natalie? That's Alicia Witt. Natalie is obviously shaken by Michelle's death, and this pranky prankster, Mr. Jokey Joke Maker, Damon, played by Joshua Jackson, old Mighty Duck himself, he offers to talk to her and drive off in the woods to get maybe a little more familiar. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is not a role.
He's going to play Hide the Porpoise.
Yeah, he's doing and he's doing it just for the halibut. You like that, James?
Yeah.
Well, how come Rick and Casey didn't laugh? That was a very fast thinking on my feet pun, fish pun.
Rick's still trying to figure it out.
But I was on mute.
I thought he said hide the sausages.
That didn't sound the same at all.
At all. So listen, he's acting too big for his britches, all right? And she's not coming with it. So he gets out he has to go pee, all right? And he gets attacked by the killer, who then hangs him from a tree with a rope attached to the car. How this all happens unbeknownst to Natalie, I don't know. But
another classic urban legend.
It absolutely is. And as the killer approaches Natalie, she tries to run him over, but with that rope attached to the car, it just strings him up, at the tree. And keep in mind, this is something that you could never, ever in a million years mistake as a prank. Okay? Like
Not a good prank.
Reminds me of something. One time,
dude,
we were all camping. We were all camping out.
I wasn't there, right?
No, you weren't there.
Okay, good.
Having a boys' night, and we put this one feller in a sleeping bag. Then we put another sleeping bag on top of him and tied a rope to what we hoped it were his feet and hung him from a tree.
James, let's... Okay, we very much need to establish the fact that he's still alive to this day.
Yeah, he's still alive because he gnawed his way out of those sleeping bags. But just his teeth.
Well, he did have some... Okay, we're talking about our friend Aaron. This is this is the same individual that... You remember the camping story that we told you about where we kept passing him out and he went into convulsions and James was going to go up the hill with that lantern like where the red fern grows and get help? Well, it's the same kid. His name was Aaron. Aaron, you, sir, were a big part of our teen years, and I'm so glad you escaped from those sleeping bags.
It sounds like the three of you were consistently up to no good.
Moving on. So... Natalie knows she's killed Damon. Damon knows he's dead too. And, of course, Natalie goes to get a security guard, played by the divine Loretta Devine. Rick, what was she in?
Well, she is an actress and a singer. She was in the Broadway production of the original Dreamgirls. She was in Waiting to Exhale. She was in Grey's Anatomy, which she won a Primetime Emmy for. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean,
she has been a top-notch actress for as long as I've known her.
She was in The Wiz.
She was in The Wiz.
It's me, The Wiz. And we'll always love you.
James, what? I didn't realize you had that kind of range.
That's right, Bill. It's not just eye candy.
God. Well, At the end of the show, I need you to lead us into the outro with your pipes, all right? But Natalie returns to the crime scene with the security guard named Reese. But Damon and the car are nowhere to be seen, and this again was another one of those urban legends. What was this one called?
The one where he was hung from the tree was like the man with the hook man from the insane asylum that escapes.
I am pretty sure you're getting that mixed up with a different.
The Hook Man.
Yeah,
Hook
this
Man.
one. This one is called The Boyfriend's Death. Apparently, the original, or maybe one of the more popular told tales, is the girl and the guy are stranded. Which this kind of, they're not stranded. The car works perfectly fine. But the boyfriend goes in search of gasoline on foot. And she's there hiding under like blankets or something. And she keeps hearing like taps on the top of the car, but she doesn't look. She doesn't investigate. And by the end of it, she sleeps it off. Morning comes, the police come and ask if anybody's there. She looks out, and when she's walking away with the police officer, she's told not to turn around and look because behind her is the boyfriend hanging from the tree above the car. Again, these are all based on these urban legends. Don't have to be exact, but that's how they chose to tell the tale in this film.
Toes the whole time touching the car, but
on his toes, could barely even stand. But on this one, she drives off and makes sure that he ain't touching anything because she snaps that neck on a fucking limb, and it was probably the most, I don't say it's the most brutal death, but it definitely made me cringe the most.
Priceless, Bill.
Well, it's good to see you're happy about it. What in the world is that, James? You tasing your balls again?
What happened?
Oh, Rick knows. Rick's laughing because he knows.
I'm making sure I'm down to 16% battery.
Okay, well, just keep it above zero. But the next day,
battery, then.
The next day, Natalie tells Brenda, Parker, and Sasha.
Battery money, Bill.
Well, yeah, you're made out of money, James. So it's not a surprise to me. But Natalie tells Brenda, Parker, Sasha about Damon, and nobody's believing her. All right, this is the part where this is the reason that I said there's no way that you would look at this and think that it's a prank. As elaborate as the prankster was, Damon didn't have it in him. But Natalie's stunned that they doubt her confession, and she knows that these two murders are connected with urban legends, as we've noted ourselves. But Natalie goes to the library to start reading up on these urban legends, and that's where she sees Sasha. And they read about several different legends, including the way that Damon was killed, and another where gang members kill anybody who flashes their headlights at them. And that's one that one is probably the one that I have the most recollection of. Do you guys remember that one? Has anybody ever told you guys? One. Yeah, well, you're from Memphis. Yep. You're probably one of the gang members. You fucking hoodlum.
Wait, what? I had never heard this one before. This one was brand new to me.
Tell her, Rick. Wow, I'm too mad.
I know this is the one I remember the most out of all of these.
He's about to
is
lie.
That if you're driving and someone flashes your lights at them, someone flashes their lights at you and you flash them back, then supposedly they'll turn around, it's a gang initiation, and they'll chase and kill you.
That is silly.
But that's been going around for a long ass time.
Yeah.
Keep your lights on.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily the way I heard it, but it's very similar. Like, they don't have to flash the lights at you. If their lights are off, your first thought is, hey, your lights are off, so that you flash your lights at them.
You're a goner, Bill.
Oh, yeah, you're a goner. You are an absolute goner if you flash those lights. Casey, if you see anybody driving with their lights off, don't you dare flash those lights.
Turn the other way.
I'm gonna.
I don't do it. I never flash my lights at anybody ever.
Well, you probably don't have your lights on. Oh yeah, you are, you little pussy. Sorry.
I got those DRTs on, or DRLs.
DRLs. What? Dick
Daily running
lips?
lights, fool.
Oh, my bad. Well, they're brushed up on the gang members and the urban legends. But while Natalie's away, her gothy roommate Tosh, played by Danielle Harris of legendary
Wish Upon a Star fame.
Yeah, she was in Marked for Dead, Don't Tell Mom Babysitter's Dead, Free Willy, Last Boy Scout, Halloween 4 and 5. Wish Upon a Star movie, Casey mentioned,
Yeah.
and the new
Definitely that.
Halloweens, which I'm not going to talk about.
She's in the new Halloweens?
The Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Of course, my first knowledge of her was in Halloween 4 and 5 as Jamie, but I forgot she was in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Casey, have you seen that yet?
Nope.
That is right up your alley.
Christina Applegate's in it.
Yeah.
She's hot.
And she was hot in this because she was right out of her
She's
Kelly
really
Bundy
young in
years.
that. Yeah.
I will have to watch this.
Well, approaching is another urban legend. Be glad you didn't turn on the lights. Danielle Harris, who is the gothy roommate, is strangled by the killer. She's kind of IMing somebody. She says, which room are you in? And he says, yours. And he attacks her, and she's dead. But here comes Natalie coming in at night, and knowing that she's already walked in on her having sex with somebody, and she's moaning and struggling for, I guess, her freedom of her hands. Tosh she's a little bit freaky, so it did not sound abnormal.
She was on
Natalie.
her gotho shit.
Yeah, she was on her gotho shit, her big titty gotho shit.
Same.
And I mean, hey, who among us doesn't love a big titty goth girl? Everybody does. However, that was not the case this time, guys. It was not the case.
She got murdered.
Straight murdered, not the stab that she wanted to be. And
he didn't understand why the killer didn't kill Natalie. I mean, he's in the room with her. Why not just kill her then?
It's all
for the drama.
It's all in the game, Rick. You'd be a terrible murderer because you just come out and do it. God, Rick, what have you learned from any of these movies?
Don't go in the woods alone.
Okay, as long as you know that. But, Natalie's thinking that, Tosh is just engaged in some, she's going to Pound Town, downtown Pound Town. But she's not. She's dead. And she sees that in the morning when she discovers Tosh's corpse. And the words scrawled out upon her wall, aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?
These words are pretty high up.
Yeah, they used a roll.
Did the killer use a step stool?
I would say yes.
Also, it was written in blood. I always wonder about writing in blood things. You have to, walk back and forth across the room.
Yeah, but you have all night to do it.
You're trying to get out of there before Homegirl wakes up.
Which will be in the morning. There's no hurry.
You don't wake up in the middle of the night all the time? I
No.
do.
Must be fun.
That makes me think that maybe someone knows the sleep pattern. So maybe a known relative, a known friend. This could be maybe not a stranger.
Ooh.
Yeah, drama unfolds.
Maybe they know the person.
James, you're full of ideas, and I believe you might be right. But while talking with Dean Adams and Reese, Natalie realizes that neither of them nor the police are taking Tosh's death seriously. They're taking it seriously, but maybe they're on the wrong trail. They're calling it a suicide. Which I guess is easy to pin on somebody if you go by stereotypes. People think about the goth community as being just total downers.
They're like, she's manic depressive. Did you know that? And she's like, yeah, she painted our walls black.
I had
wow,
an idea.
That should go in the DSM.
Yeah, yeah, it should. Richmond from the IT crowd is the most delightful goth I've ever seen. So it's like, what funeral? Natalie is in disbelief. Okay, and she and Paul, they're going to solve this mystery. Okay, and Natalie thinks that the murders probably have something to do with that massacre back in '73. But of course,
Stanley Hall massacre.
Yeah, but Paul, he was never with it. He totally discredits it. He thinks it's a student. So, whatever. I mean, they're going to disagree on that. But, they're kind of skulking around their professor, who we have not brought up. Mr. Bob Englund. Ring a bell?
It does.
I mean, I don't even think I have to tell people what he's in. So, I mean.
Well, do it anyway, you lazy bastard.
Yeah, he's in all the Nightmare on Elm Street except for the horrible remake in 2010.
That you were in.
Yeah, I was in it. Yeah.
Jackie Earl Haley over here. Oh, man, I wish y'all could see her. Rick and Jackie Earl Haley are the same person.
In 2001 Maniacs. He was in a lot of other stuff.
You could have stopped it from Nightmare on Elm Street. I could have stopped it.
He was in Dead and Buried.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, they're skulking around his office after the janitor kind of lets them know that he might know something about that massacre. Okay, so, Wexler...
Janitor.
Say that again?
A weird janitor.
Well, there's nothing weird about
Totally
him.
normal janitor who just is a little standoffish.
Yeah, Rick. God, you're so judgmental.
Hey, I didn't write the description.
Okay, well, they get caught by Bob England in his office, and so they're off to see the dean. So Paul now loses his job as, the journalist, and the dean is bringing up Natalie's, hidden past that is going to basically kind of unfold what we know, or what we didn't know before, but what we do know now, a misdemeanor for vehicular manslaughter. Totally related here. She spills it to us. So, there's like an accumulating paranoia that causes, Natalie to, just go off the hinges, and she reveals that mysterious past to Brenda. And, Brenda is Rebecca Gayheart, Hammer. So, one night, Natalie and Michelle, who we knew from the opening scene, they reenacted, an urban legend. They were driving with those headlights off, doing a little gangbanging, if you will. And they were pursued by the first driver who flashed them. Of course, that caused him to run off the road, dies a horrible death. Brenda is just, she's hearing this story and she's distraught by it, and suggests that they both attend Parker's party to kind of take their minds off of what's going on, the murders and such. Of course, there's one place you want to be when there are murderers about, and it's at a party. Surrounded by potential murderers.
Or potential friends.
Yes, I should also not discount that. But Natalie finally agrees to go. But of course, that evening, the dean is now attacked in the parking garage by one of the least likely, but most interesting urban legends. The old Achilles slash from under the car.
Oh, okay. So you know what this makes me think of immediately?
Pet Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery. The original, of course.
And how does it not?
Oh, just that moment.
They fuck up Herman Munster so bad.
They do.
The two Utes were under the bed.
He did get got by a Ute.
He got by a Ute, by a very young Ute, and he did not complain about what he was wearing that day, did he? No, he did not. But Dean Adams...
We missed one at the beginning when Brenda and Natalie do the Bloody Mary at the entrance to Stanley Hall.
Oh, yeah. If any of y'all ever had the balls to do a Bloody Mary in front of the mirror.
Of course.
No.
Rick
is a chicken.
No,
Like,
I've seen ghosts,
here.
and I believe in paranormal, and I still haven't done that. So
you believe in the
I've never seen a ghost, and I don't believe in paranormal
100%.
stuff.
Yep, aliens are real. If you don't think aliens are real, you're an idiot. So
That's different than
damn.
paranormal.
If it's real, then it's not paranormal, Rick. You just...
Well, I'm saying there's other
the
life
opposite.
in the universe.
But that's not
I believe
paranormal.
in aliens, but I don't believe in ghosts.
I do.
I believe in goats.
That's okay. Like Adrian Monk.
James,
What
do you believe in
about that
ghosts?
Sasquatch?
Well, James, that's another matter entirely.
I believe in the paranormal. Let's talk about 4 things that are on this earth, physically touchable.
Sasquatch.
Old ghost Sasquatch. Maybe that's what it is.
That'd
Maybe
be
that's
terrible.
why nobody can see. Oh, yes, it would. It would be terrible, James. Well, okay. So back to Dean Adams and his slashed Achilles. He's,
Dean Adams.
Old Dean Adams is trying to crawl away. Yeah, he gets run over by the car. This was kind of gruesome because, it forced a row of tire spikes to just run his body through. And it was, I cringed at this scene because it just feels like, spikes going through your body. A whole line of them.
Who has it in a parking garage? I've never, of all my years on Earth, seen anywhere with tire spikes in a parking lot or parking garage whatsoever.
Well, that's because you're paying
Is that
your
a
parking
thing?
bill. Yeah, it's a thing. Or it was
I've
in
never seen
98.
Summer of '69.
So meanwhile, Paul, old Jared Leto, old Joker himself, he's discovered that the Stanley Hall massacre actually did occur. And who is the only living person that can tell the tale?
Professor
mom.
Wexler.
Oh, that sneaky bastard. Well, later on, Natalie arrives at the party, and there's Brenda, happy to see her. And Parker and Sasha are at the party as well. Paul shows up. So Paul and Natalie have this theory that Bob England, Professor Wexler, snapped due to the fact that massacre's anniversary was, I guess, that day, right? They were on the very day of the anniversary.
Yeah, it was the 25th, I think, right?
Oh, well, you know the date. You would know. I only remember that it was close. But we're talking about the very day, yeah?
I'm saying 25th anniversary.
25th anniversary, my bad.
Yeah, I don't know what actual number day it was.
Well, I can only assume that they were on that day, though. But
yeah,
Paul and Natalie finally get a little, kissing stuff going on. And I'm not really cool with that because Brenda wanted some of that vitamin P, and she's not going to get it now. She's got to leave in tears because she interrupted him and gave Natalie her little light beer. But Paul kind of relays that theory to Parker, who's kind of the douchebag friend. He's a little bit snarky. He's not buying it, so he wants to kind of embarrass Paul there at the party. And he really kind of insinuates that, Paul might be the killer.
Maybe.
Could be. Why wouldn't he be? He's got we saw, I don't know if it was at this point or before, but we saw that coat hanging from his door, right? So he could very well.
He's got that dead stare.
And he's got that dead stare, and we already know that Jared Leto's a shit human anyway, so it might be him, but he's humiliated and he leaves. And why would somebody leave a party? Maybe to kill somebody.
That's the only reason I can think of.
I've never left a party without killing somebody. So, yeah. But he tells Natalie to stay at the party. He's going to go look for help elsewhere. But meanwhile,
classic guy about to kill someone vibes.
Yeah, like, no, don't go with me. There's nothing to see over here. Don't worry about that knife. And meanwhile, Sasha, she's kind of embarrassed by Parker, and she leaves. She's going to go host a radio show and give more excellent advice to the youth of America. Hold it with both hands. But Parker, he gets this phone call from the killer telling him that he about to die.
Which, they're right.
If the killer was Whoopi Goldberg, he would say, Parker, you in danger, girl.
And he was indeed in danger, girl.
He was in danger, girl. So, Parker, he's kind of amused by it all.
Oh, that was Whoopi Goldberg.
See, it sounded just like it, right? Oda Mae Brown. Well, it was me, James. Me. But Parker, he's kind of playing, I don't want to say that cat and mouse. Well, we can talk about another animal in the microwave. Rick, I hope you're proud of yourself for selecting this movie. After all the pissing and moaning that you did with Funny Games and the dog dying and falling out of the back of that SUV and seeing its limp corpse,
Rick, I'm going to swing on you and everyone you love.
I didn't make the urban legend, so don't blame me.
Oh, you're getting the blame, buddy.
You could have omitted it. You could have written a letter. You could have written 2 letters at least.
Yeah, 98 when I was 9 years old. Okay.
Well, you were ahead of me.
Good God, 8 years old at 98. I'm not even going to do.
I'm doing my math is wrong. I don't remember, dude. It was
my
math
ain't mathing.
I want to know.
Yeah, my math ain't mathing on that one.
By the way, the director of this we didn't mention is Jamie Blanks. He did Valentine and Storm Warning and The Long Weekend, and he's Australian.
Hey, Billy Blanks' grandson.
And y'all should follow him on Twitter.
Rick, how old were you? I'm still waiting.
Billy Blanks?
98. Shoot, I was...
What year were you born, Rick? 87?
Yeah.
You were 11.
So you're 11.
I don't know what year he was born.
I just wanted to know what the standing was for this film and where we all were in our lives.
Well, James and I were close to graduation.
I was chasing some hot tail on a Tuesday night.
You probably didn't get any.
James got more ass than a toilet seat in his life.
Shot down again.
Shot at and missed. Shit on and hit.
What do you think about going to see this Urban Legends, baby?
No. Well, I guess I'll go with Bill.
All right, then.
So the killer's got Parker on the phone, and he says that his dog has just been put in the fucking microwave. And
you wonder if it's true.
And you wonder if it's true.
For a second.
You hope it's not.
For a second, it's like, maybe it won't be.
I never even
But
heard
then
that.
it's like Arrested Development, Dead Dove, Do Not Open. Like, what did I expect?
What did I expect? I don't think I can return this. So he opens the microwave, seeing his dead dog. He runs to just blow chunks in the bathroom.
Like any of us would, obviously,
like any
because
of us
that is
would.
Disgusting, Rick.
It is. God, you rat soup eating bastard, Rick. I can't believe it. The killer shows up and ties Parker to the toilet and forces him
to throw the microwave out.
Well, don't do it without an animal inside. But Parker is forced to chug Pop Rocks and not soda pop, guys. Not, what do you call it? What do you call it, Casey? Soda, Coke, soda pop, soft drink?
Soda
Cold
or
drink.
pop. I don't say Coke unless it's a Coke.
I don't say pop because we're not in the Midwest, so...
Kind of are, but what do you say? Don't tell me what you don't say.
Soda.
Tell me what you do say. You say soda?
Soda, like a
I
normal
think most
person.
of the South is a Coke.
You're
Though.
on Funny Pops.
What do you say, Mr. Clampett?
I tell you what I say, Bill.
You probably
Tell
say
me.
Pepsi.
They're all Cokes, even a Pepsi.
So if we go to the market and I say, hey, grab me a Coke.
The market, you'll never catch me dead in the market.
Okay.
That's pretty final hill to die.
I go to the damn grocery store, Bill.
James,
Okay.
James, I know you go to the Bethpage store. Don't lie.
Don't be doxing him. He'll have
Fans
listeners
waiting outside the Bethpage store.
Yeah, he'll have listeners' underwear mailed to him at the Bethpage post
At
office.
the Bethpage store.
At the Bethpage store. Why in the hell have we got all these panties?
One postal worker.
What's all these panties for?
They're different colors and everything. I've never seen that in Bethpage. So instead of soda, they have him chug Pop Rocks and bathroom chemicals.
Nobody's favorite combo.
No. If you didn't believe in the soda and Pop Rocks, you're definitely going to believe in that Mr. Clean and Pop Rocks. It'll clean you right out. But at the radio station, Sasha, Tara Reid is on air. In the background, without Sasha knowing, her employee, I guess, is kind of stabbed up. And then she's attacked. And, of course, she runs out of the room, which is a fantastic scene to see. I can only really compare the way that she runs to the way that SpongeBob runs when he's trying to tiptoe and be fast about it. And you hear the little in his footsteps. But while being pursued by the killer, like, she's still on air. Okay, she has not stopped broadcasting. Everybody can
And
hear
everyone thinks this is like
A joke.
drama.
Yeah, and like, everybody believes it's just all an act, and all the party goers, they're just party going. They're living their best lives. But Natalie's the one that knows about the killer. Okay, she comes to help, and they're both chased kind of through this empty radio station because everybody's out doing their thing, and Sasha attempts to escape, and like, she is constantly thwarted by the killer. She hurts her leg and eventually hides in a room upstairs where Natalie can kind of see up through the window. She doesn't see Sasha, but she sees the killer, and she sees the weapon go up, and she sees the weapon go down.
Tragically.
Tragedy. That's my best Bee Gees. I can't sing. But Sasha sinks to the floor and just kind of has to eat it there, which is terrible. But again, with a movie with a high kill count, nobody's safe. Absolutely nobody's safe. Of course, the killer waves at Natalie to let her know that she's going to be the next target, probably. But running from the station, Natalie finds finds Paul and then Brenda. She lets them know about Sasha and everybody else. But meanwhile, Reese, after hearing those cries on the radio, comes to the radio station and finds Sasha's just mutilated body. And Reese is horrified, decides to take matters into her own hands, and she gets the one sensible weapon, a gun, that nobody seems to it doesn't seem to occur to anybody that a gun was going to help things here. This isn't a supernatural person like a Sasquatch. This is a real human. So why not grab a gun? But the next stop is Paul at the gas station. All right, now this is the part where they find the dead body of, I believe it was Wexler, was it not? In the trunk?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I thought so. And of course, this is Paul, Natalie, and Brenda, and he's inside making a phone call in the gas station. And he's looking out. He sees them. Okay, this is the part that kind of throws me off. He does not have like a worried look on his face, any more worried than he normally looks. Jared Leto looks constantly worried about something. But
Probably
he didn't look
the mounting allegations against him.
Yeah, and during that time, they were probably just warming up. But he's on the phone. He doesn't look any more worried than normal. But Brenda and Natalie, they think, okay, it has to be him. It must be him. And they just take off. He comes out after him, and, that's where the chase begins. But, Natalie and Brenda kind of lose each other. And they make their way, or who makes their way to the road? I believe it was Natalie who made her way to the road, where the school's janitor, the not weird janitor, picks her up. And when the janitor, I guess he doesn't know anything about urban legends either, he flashes a car with its headlights off. It swerves around and comes after them. And of course, it's the killer who forces the janitor's car off the road, knocks him out, and then Natalie's kind of, trying to make her way back to campus after the janitor's dealt with. While calling for help, she can hear Brenda screaming from, well, I guess it's somewhere inside of Stanley Hall. Natalie breaks into the hall, and on the second floor, she discovers Parker, Dean Adams, and Damon. And in the final room, she discovers Brenda, who's obviously either about to be dead or is already dead.
She looked pretty dead to me, Billy.
She looked pretty dead, but you never know, do you? You think you know,
don't.
but you don't know. And then what happens? Tell him, Casey. I'm too damn mad.
She comes back. She's alive.
She's alive, and
Knocks
not
her
only
out.
alive, but also what?
The killer.
Bigfoot poltergeist.
She is a Bigfoot poltergeist who is killing people. Natalie is swerved. We were swerved. Brenda is the killer.
Not swerved.
No, she knew about it the whole time.
And, she knocks her unconscious. She reveals herself to be the killer, enacting revenge for her fiance, the
Who was
guy
who?
who Natalie manslaughtered.
It all comes full circle. It all comes full circle. Rick, don't ever cross somebody. They might come and get you 10 years later.
I will.
10 minutes later, maybe.
I don't have time to wait 10 years.
No.
10 months tops. But the obvious next move after revealing yourself to be the killer is to remove their kidney, which is like, I know that's a trope, but why did she do that?
Well, maybe
Just because to follow the fact that it's urban legends? What was she gonna do with that kidney? Save it and chew on it for later?
Maybe chew on it. Maybe use it herself. Maybe
For
she
what?
had some kidney
Hook it up
failure
to
going
a
on.
potato?
Well, maybe she might have needed a new kidney, and she now has one in her back pocket.
I don't know. You give me a knife and tell me to find someone's kidney, and we're gonna be there several hours, and it's not coming out in one piece.
Well, we learn very quickly that Brenda's not one to mess with. She is not a do-nothing bitch.
You know who else isn't though?
Who?
Reese.
No, Reese is not a do-nothing bitch. Now, Brenda did kind of successfully disarm Reese by hacking up that arm a little bit with that hidden knife. But when they shoot Reese, that's the sad
Very
part.
sad.
Yeah, very sad. But
But
then
she
who
tried.
comes to save the day though? The one you don't really want to save the day. after
Paul's
the fact.
loser ass.
Yeah, Paul's loser ass with his worried look and his trumped up newspaper articles who have nothing on the guys at Slasher Sports, if I may say so, which you can
Nothing.
read at slashersports.com if you love horror movies and baseball. Why do we even do that? Why is that our thing? Baseball and horror movie. Because we don't give a fuck, that's why. Okay? We like what we like. And if you like
I'd
it
like
also,
to see you guys put together a baseball team of your favorite horror characters, actually.
consider that shit done. I'm
Thank you.
hitting up.
Quick
I'm
shout
hitting,
out
Oh.
to Miguel Cabrera. He had his 3,000th hit the other day.
Yes,
So.
3,000 hits. That's a career stat right there. Casey, just to put it in terms that you might appreciate. Because I said 3,000 hits. Okay, fine. It's what it is. That's like, I don't know, Flava Flav going through 90 women on Flavor of Love instead of just the 30 that he had on. In the
Flavor of Love?
Was it Flavor of Love? I thought it was Flavor of Love.
Are you
Billy,
really
correct me if I'm wrong,
questioning me
isn't
on
it only
this?
like 27 people or 30 people have done 3,000 hits or something like that?
Yeah, something stupid. In the
Yeah.
thousands and thousands who've played baseball, only like 27 people have had 3,000 hits. Miggy Cabrera, hats off to you. And no, Casey, I wouldn't dare correct you on it. I was repeating the fact that I thought that's what it was called because his name is Flava Flav, not Flavor Flav. So that's what my mom calls him, but that's not his name.
Well, I will actually let you know that his name is Flavor Flav, and a girl was eliminated in the show for spelling his name as Flava Flav.
Is that true? Because like as long
I am
as I've
being dead serious.
I was just telling a mutual friend of ours that my favorite rap group of all time is Public Enemy, and here I am telling myself that Flava Flav was his name and not Flavor Flav.
Flavor. He gets very upset when a girl misspells his name.
Well,
You would not. He would. Man, you'd get eliminated so fucking fast. You would not know what time it was.
I'm eliminated. You know, when I was in elementary school, I asked my mom to get me a giant clock necklace.
Did she?
She did not. She bought me a Velcro watch.
Well, Billy's mom, his birthday's coming up quick.
It sure is. Well, guys, Natalie gets that gun that took out Reese, and she's able to dispatch Brenda, who's a very human person, who falls through a window. Natalie and Paul check on Reese, and, you know, they drive off to get help, but suddenly Brenda appears in the back seat somehow and attacks him with an axe. How'd that happen?
Classic.
Very classic. Didn't expect it to happen. I thought Brenda was gone. But Paul...
Well, and of course it happens right after Paul goes, if this is an urban legend, what's the twist?
Oh, yeah.
And she appears out of the back seat.
Timing was impeccable. The timing...
There's not room in that car to swing an axe.
No, you could swing a hatchet. That's about all you can do. But, you know, he gets whacked in the head. You know, he crashes the car. Brenda goes flying through the windshield into the stream, or I guess it's a river. It's big enough to be a river. And Natalie and Paul watch her float away, and that's where their story ends. Their story. But kind of a post-drama teaser for the next one. We're not finished, are we?
No, we're not.
We've got another group of students, all fresh, being told a story by someone that's not unlike Paul.
Parker, yeah.
Or Parker. They all kind of want to debunk this story, you know. That nobody believes it. Bullshit. One lady with, you know, legs all the way up to her neck. I don't even know who that was, but man, she should have had more screen time. But one woman does believe the storyteller. Who is that woman who believes the storyteller?
Brenda.
It is Brenda. She's alive and well, looking only as she can look. Straightened her hair, didn't like that, but hey.
And she wears
Yeah, not my
glasses,
favorite.
apparently.
Yeah.
Well, she's got to slide under the radar here, y'all.
Yeah, she has to wear. I mean, if it works
She
for
murdered
Superman,
a lot of people.
Yeah, if it works for Superman, the glasses should work for Brenda. So, you know, it's revealed to be Brenda who begins to tell the story the way it actually happened, and then cut to credits. Guys,
Yeah, I thought it's crazy. You talked about like some of the urban legend. There was one that I thought about that Professor Wexler mentioned, the babysitter and the man upstairs.
oh yeah, we
Maybe
know
think
about that
like,
one.
When a stranger calls, and there's actually no documented cases of serial killers who have targeted babysitters, but there is cases of killers who have killed babysitters in real life that have happened.
I misunderstood something along of what you said, because you said that there have been no cases where they targeted the babysitter, but cases where they
cases
did.
of serial killers, but there's documented cases of people killing babysitters and they know they're home alone.
Individual case by case, but not serial killers only going after babysitters.
There's not. Yeah, it's not a thing.
I will be the first. I'll see you guys later. Okay.
You'd never get away with it.
I wouldn't, because here it is on the Slashers and Screamers podcast. James, let's talk about how you felt about this movie. I feel like this is one that you probably liked.
This was a great movie.
Sounds like it.
What'd you like so much about it besides Rebecca Gayheart?
That's probably the only thing I liked about it.
But that was enough, was it not?
That was enough to push it through.
Well,
This Scream remake.
you think it was a Scream remake?
I think it was.
There are a lot of similarities because you've got the students, you've got the kill count, you've got everybody that's, attractive.
Yeah, people called it a Scream ripoff back then because it came out in September of '98, so it was pretty fresh off of the new, of Scream.
I think this is just another movie in that 98 to 2000 horror movie jumble they did.
There
I know
were
what
a
you did
lot of.
last summer. Bill, I'm still talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you stopped.
I know what you did last summer. Scream, this movie. I don't know. There's several more.
I knew you were going to stop after that
2000.
one.
I fell asleep. I can't remember nothing.
I've slept since then. Well, James, give it a score on the slash scale, 1 to 5. How did you feel about this film?
I'm gonna give it a 1.
A 1?
You can't be pleased.
Creativity whatsoever.
That is something that Rick said at the beginning is original in its own way, but it did take everything from existing urban legends, so it didn't really take a ton of creativity in those specific scenes.
This movie's like me making money off maximum overdrive with my book.
Minimum underdrive. The Coke machine went haywire. Casey, how did you feel about urban legend?
There's going to be some people out there who say that I'm a hater.
Oh.
And to those people, you're right. I give this movie a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. That's 2 out of 5, guys.
Rebecca Gayheart is incredibly hot. Don't get me wrong, please. But
I wouldn't.
I don't know. It's pretty goofy, right? Like, it has its moments, definitely, and there's some cool-looking things, but this is not my favorite movie we've reviewed. And I agree with the Scream ripoff cries.
Herein we find the reason for your low score. I believe this is a Seinfeld versus Friends thing, and you're taking it very hard for Seinfeld, which is Scream in this analogy.
Because it's superior?
It is superior.
Is that why you assigned it?
It is definitely superior, and that's why I called it Seinfeld and not Friends.
Of course.
But I hated Friends, but I did not hate. I did not hate Urban Legend. And
I don't hate it.
Well, 4 out of 10 sounds like some hatred.
No, 1 out of 10 would be hatred.
I don't know.
I'm just saying people will call me a hater for saying that it's a ripoff and not loving it.
All right, if a guy comes up and asks you, "Hey, Casey, I think I'm cute. What would you rate me?" and you say 4 out of 10, he's going to be livid.
I would never talk to a man.
I would never purposely talk to a man. Well, you make fair assessments, though, Casey. This is not a very original film. However, it was fun for the time because we were starting to hit on all those movies that James had mentioned in Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Later on, My Bloody Valentine had a remake. There were some good things. Halloween H2O was out around this time.
I love that one.
So it is on the lower end of the spectrum as far as quality during this time. But at that time, we were taking anything that they could throw at us. We didn't have great horror. Great new horror. So
Scream
we were just kind of
right there.
We were kind of welcome. Yeah, I'm saying with this genre of teen screams, though, we didn't have much before Scream, and then Scream kind of kicked it all off. So we took it, but in retrospect, you're probably right. And finally, I guess we should talk to the one who brought this shit sandwich to us, Rick. What are your final
thoughts? So I'm not going to
thoughts?
say it's a 10 out of 10. I'm not going to say
Good.
it's the best movie ever. I would give it a 6 out of 10, honestly. I mean, for the time when it was made, like you guys have touched on, a lot of other movies were out or came out, and other movies followed in that vein. There was the movie Valentine in 2000. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Scream. So it's kind of in that weird period of Scream came out. Now let's try to copy everything that Scream did in a sense. I mean, I agree with Billy. It's not original in a sense that, it copies all the urban legends. I like how it kind of tries to intertwine them within the story. I would say the music's really good. I forgot to mention that. The guy who did the music actually did a score for The Dorm That Dripped Blood in 1982 and the original Hellraiser of 87. Oh. So I thought the score wasn't bad. honestly. So
you're talking about the original score.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys heard it, but there was a song playing during the party scene that I thought was going to be like responsible for a big resurgence of an old style music, and that is the song from the swing band Cherry Poppin' Daddies, and the name of that song was Zoot Suit Riot. And I forgot all about that little 30-minute cup of coffee that Swing had in the limelight during the 1997-1998 time frame. But that album was hot.
Voodoo Daddy and
yeah. Man, that was so good, though. It kind of makes me want to add Zoot Suit Riot to my workout mix, you know? Well, guys, I guess we should go ahead and put a bow on this thing. Who's got the next pick, though? Like, we don't need to drop it right now. Is it James? James, you better have a good one for us. So if you want to catch James's pick, keep your eyes out on our social media. On Twitter, @SlasherSports. On Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, @SlasherSportsMedia. So if you would, go on to your favorite podcast apps /sites. I said slash. And give us a rating, an honest rating. If you love the show, 5 is appreciated. If you hate it, if you must give us a 1, give us a 1. But that helps us with the algorithm. It gets more ears into our podcast. And as always, we do appreciate the listeners. Guys, we can't really do it without listeners, can we? So for now, for the Godfather of Droll James, for the Memphis Maniac Rick, and for Final Girl Casey, I am Billy Graves. And we will catch you in the gag room.